It really ruins the effect of your retro logo when you have to put the modern Time Warner on it, in case you confused it with Los Angeles Democratic Republic of the Congo. Gotta send the dad parents here for thinking under the bed was a good place to hide his nudie mags. Iron Man 3's Ty Simpkins just so happens to be looking at a centerfold for Misty Mountains, who is seconds away from crashing into his house. In a coincidence so crazy I'm surprised that Led Zeppelin's Misty Mountain Hop isn't blaring at a neighbor's house. I guess there was no way to identify her as Misty Mountains unless she appeared completely nude after the wreckage.
How do you like my car, big boy?
Dying and then doing a roll credits moment for your own life.
Bart, Sarah, and Jonathan are spending their leisure day at the city pool. Aren't they lucky?
Hell yeah, they're lucky. They went to a city pool with absolutely no other f***ing people. You can't even kidnap John Anderton's kid in this place.
Jonathan has a gay towel.
If you're teaching kids adjectives, why would you go with gay here? Even if gay means bright and cheerful or something like that. It's clearly a rainbow towel, and rainbow still fits the adjective bill. Gay doesn't describe the towel whatsoever. Go f*** yourself, school film. Wearing 2 pairs of glasses without using either of them. I have a couple of questions concerning this bike that this girl is taking to go home. Is this movie saying that this predatory asshole drove to her school, waited for her outside, and then had her bike to his residence? Or did she get in his car, he took her to his place, and the movie hoped that you forgot she didn't have a bike in the first place? March's right hand has a tattoo that says you will never be happy. Weirdly, my right hand has been telling me that same thing for years without needing the aid of a tattoo. This article looks pretty legit at first, but upon closer inspection, I did find a flaw in this article. It says, contrary to the name, though, they did not originate in Africa. Starts off great, doesn't it? It's about to tell us why these bees are called Africanized. Then it says, European honeybees, and the result is the African bees. Honey production scientists miscalculated this aggressive hybrid. That starts off being understandable and then changes into gobbledygook after the first sentence. Amelia drives this car and yet is hard to locate.
That's a lot of blood, guys. That's a lot of blood.
Geez, how did he get to a phone in time to get an ambulance? You look at this marquee with the stand-up comics and go, wow, nice detail for the period. And then you look at the signatures on this blackboard area and you see people like Joe Rogan, who was 10 at the time, and Pauly Shore, who was 9. I'm not even sure Eddie Murphy was a big enough name in 1977 to be on this thing, but the point I'm making has been made. Did he just slide into his pre-tied shoes in the 70s? That's a f***ing lie right there. I won't have it. Chekhov's brass knuckles? The problem with this isn't the same cow note that Jackson received from Amelia earlier. The dead giveaway is the alignment of burn hair underneath March, which starts under the H in the first note, but starts under the R in the second note. There are other small differences in handwriting, but I won't bother going into depth there. Anyway, this is a devastating blow for this movie.
Stop looking for Amelia. Right?
So you beat the f*** out of him for that? Meanwhile, the other guy is a creepy weirdo giving pot to 13-year-olds and God knows what else, and you just punch him and leave?
You mind if I have an apple?
The director said, let's have this guy ask if he can have an apple, so they'll know that even though he's an asshole, he's polite about it.
One of you-hoo?
You-hoo.
Yoo-hoo.
Littering.
We're looking for Amelia.
Yeah, but who told you that Jackson knows anything about Amelia? The only way you could possibly know about Jackson is if you saw him talking to Amelia earlier. And then I'd assume you'd follow her afterwards instead of tracking Jackson down. The only way this makes sense is that Shane Black himself told these two guys about Jackson so he could then team up with Holland to get the movie going.
I saw her through the front window.
If she saw her niece, who she thought was dead, in the window of her own house, why didn't she ring the doorbell and try to talk to her?
She was writing something, and then she came out and she drove away, and this was 2 days after the accident.
So we'll find out later that Mrs. Glenn from outside Misty's house saw part of a film Misty was in projected on a wall upstairs. And then she saw Amelia, not Misty, drive away. But for this to work, Amelia would almost immediately have to turn off the projector of the film, find a way to get it back on a reel, immediately jump to her car, and drive away without Mrs. Glenn even bothering to investigate further or ask questions while directly outside the house. Fistricide. Okay, so I just made that word up because I'm not sure there's a word for killing someone's fish, but there should be, and it should be fistricide. This movie makes it look way easier to grab a fish with your hand than it actually is. Not that I've got any first-hand experience here, I just Googled.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell you, because you're a moron.
Earlier, when we saw Jackson leaving his apartment, the switch he used to turn everything off was next to the door leading outside. Now, conveniently, he has another switch that does the same thing in this random part of the room. I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying that this room was written by the screenwriter to get out of a jam. Just another day at Mitzi Shore's Comedy Store. You probably saw the same thing back then when a stand-up wanted to get paid for their work. Also, in this long-awaited Quick and the Dead reunion, Russell Crowe was neither Quick nor Keith David dead.
This little baby's gonna stay right here.
This is some incredible physical acting, folks. I know he made it look easy as shit, but the ghosts of Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton are sitting up in their graves applauding this shit. You have no idea how hard it is to drop a cigarette into your underwear and then try to go after it while covering your junk and keeping a door open and wielding a gun. Please respect the Gosling. And yes, that needs to be said, because just this week while I was writing these sins, Vanity Fair published an article about how the Barbie movie finally let Ryan Gosling be funny. And that is a super embarrassing way to admit you never saw The Nice Guys or The Big Short. Ryan Gosling can do it all.
Ventriloquism doesn't work.
Sometimes.
No, it never works. We like to pretend we can't see the person's vocal cords moving or their lips quivering while trying not to betray themselves. Ventriloquism is an art we tolerate but don't really respect, like ballet.
That's the hot tip I got yesterday before you broke my arm.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that Jackson broke your arm yesterday? And then the very next day, you're taking your daughter on a birthday bowling bash and you had enough time to visit the protest that just so happens to be going on right now? Hell, in the bathroom a minute ago, you said that he broke your arm the other day, suggesting that at least more than one day has passed. So how much time has really passed?
So all you died because of the pollution?
Right.
What about the gas mask? They didn't save you?
Jackson Healy would be amazing at air pollution protests since.
Dean had this whole room like filled with film stock. One day it just went up, you know, and yeah, it cost the guy his life and his life's work.
Amazing how terribly efficient the two killers are when it comes to Misty Mountains and this film director Dean. They just killed them and even made the murders look like accidents. But later on, every killer in this movie will hesitate and hem and haw and totally suck at the job they were fantastic at before the movie really started. Also, despite the knowledge the killers apparently possess, like who starred in the film and who directed it, they are clueless about the producer Sid Shattuck and the fact that Amelia is staying at his house until much later in the film. They'd much rather go after Jackson with some phantom lead than walk up to Sid's house and figure out exactly the details they need to win the movie.
Guy burned up. It happens.
It doesn't. I don't doubt that in 1977, Universal was advertising Jaws 2, which came out in the summer of 1978. But this billboard should, at the very least, be telling people when it's coming out. This billboard makes it seem like it's already out, and that you should just go ahead and visit a theater to watch it because it has no release date on it. Also, nice detail putting in the auto show sign early on in the movie. I had no idea it was the auto show sign, though, until later when they were looking for Chet the projectionist and the sign is in the hallway. So I'm sinning this foreshadowing for being too goddamn hard to see. The only reason I remembered it was because I spent so much time being an asshole about the Jaws 2 billboard, I noticed 1978 and wondered if it means anything. So now I'm being an asshole just for the sake of being an asshole.
Hat rack. Look at that.
So he was way too far away from this billboard to read any part of it.
They're getting ready for a party, and I asked about Amelia, and they said she'd be right back.
Amelia has the worst friends ever and is hiding out at the worst place ever.
It's a job. I gotta take it. If I don't, we won't get to live in such a nice house.
I am still waiting for answers on how you got into this house rental situation in the first place. Doing this to a horse.
It's not my nose that grows.
Oh, really? Then why is your nose like 9 inches long already?
And then a few days later, I walk in on them, and they're all doing anal and stuff.
Don't say and stuff. Just say they're doing anal.
Another sit-off for one of the movie's most hilarious moments.
Bang!
Oh.
Bang!
Because Holland is f***ing around here, he accidentally himself down a hill where he completely, by dumb luck, runs into a dead person that gives him a new lead. Also, March's spinal column survives this. This right here is Amelia, the girl everyone is looking for. And I see she decided to be very conspicuous wearing a bright yellow dress and deciding to go to this party as if there aren't killers looking for her right now. Robert Downey Jr. does a favor.
This one says she's Amelia's sister.
Oh, so the killers even have at least one person inside the party who's helping them out and they still can't find Amelia? For f***'s sake, man, Amelia cannot be that hard to find. Why the f*** is this guy dressed in grass and seemingly on a ladder? Is he trying to sneak into the party? Because no one has had any trouble getting into the party by simply using the front door. Holy f***, I've seen less convenient shit in the Lord of the Rings movies, and them shits have reincarnating wizards. I know he was being shot at and the car spun out, but let's not forget that March was also driving drunk.
Freeze!
Freeze? Freeze? Shoot them! How the f*** did Blueface get in the other lane so that the van could run him over like this? Sure, he kind of sort of backed up a step while he was taunting Holly and Amelia, but he was well within the other lane when he did that. Jeez, I guess everyone's driving drunk tonight. Kneeling down in the road when you've just seen someone get hit by a car in this very spot, even if you're doing it out of kindness. Why is Healy wiping the gun down for Prince? He didn't bother wiping down Sid Shattuck's wallet or clothes for Prince before they literally threw his dead body on a dinner party, or the gun he tossed into the hot tub.
Just following orders.
You know who else was just following orders? Hitler.
God damn, this gets me every time.
I'm Amelia's mother.
These two don't immediately question why Amelia's mother would be showing up at this place right now.
Mademoiselle Blanche replied politely.
Reading out loud while you are reading to yourself. It actually makes you read slower, but you do you, Holly. It makes the movie scene a bit better. Also, making up books that don't exist but sound real, so I'll go investigate where that passage comes from, and every Google result comes back with the nice guys.
Mom kept on complaining about a leak in the furnace, but Dad, you know, he's got his nose thing, so he couldn't smell the gas.
Holy shit. Okay, he's got a nose thing, but doesn't he also have a trust your wife's sense of smell when you know you have a nose thing? The problem with this isn't the same cow note that Jackson found back at the party. First off, there's a clear image of a cow outlined on this one, whereas there isn't one on the note he found 30 minutes ago. The crease is the dead giveaway because the 2810 numbers are lined up with the crease in the first one, and now they're way over to the left. The writing is more bunched up, and there are subtle differences in the writing.
Pull over.
What is it with this dude's ability to spot faraway shit from a moving car at night?
Where'd you go?
Got on the elevator right before you guys came in.
She got a name?
John something.
You mean the contract killer guy came in and asked the bartender where Amelia was and managed to drop his name in the process?
I get shot in the diner.
Where?
In my arm. I told you this last night.
So wait, Holland doesn't remember any part of the story Jackson told him last night? I know he fell asleep, but he heard a lot of it before he did, right? Besides, Jackson showed him Amelia's note last night too, just before he told the cafe story, and he remembered everything about that the next day. And Jackson never pulled it back out to show him again during the entire kitchen scene. The note for this meeting was located inside a film can marked Misty, so Jackson took it and pocketed it. So how the f*** did the killers know this meeting was taking place? Did they see the note and memorize it and then stick it back into the film can? If they tracked the interested film buyers, how have they been so inept at figuring out Amelia's whereabouts? Also, I have no idea why this meeting was still taking place or why Amelia showed up. She has nearly been killed several times. She knows of 2 murders over this film already, and yet she came out to this meeting expecting nothing to happen except a business deal.
Once it was out there, once it was in theaters, there's no way that they could suppress it.
So she couldn't go to the cops because her mom's the head of the Justice Department. She couldn't go to the newspapers because she says they all work together. I assume with the cops is what she means. So her plan to expose her mother's evil was to make a porno that also contained names and dates of people involved in the catalytic converter cover-up. That was what she viewed as her best option, because this girl has been presented as fairly savvy up until this point. But she thinks playing this movie on the sly at an automaker's convention, is going to create people who agree with her and want to crack down on the catalytic converters?
I got insurance. This baby right here.
Chekhov actually abandoned his brass knuckles from earlier, and now he swapped it for an ankle gun.
I used to fly all the time, but now the smog is just disgusting, man.
Not to apply internal logic to a dream fake-out involving a bee voiced by Hannibal Buress, but you also smoke. So what does the smog have to do with you not flying around? If you're going to weigh a briefcase down with paper to make it feel heavy enough to have $100,000 in it, do you need to cut the non-money paper you use into dollar bill shapes before packing the briefcase? Because I don't think that you do.
In there. Asleep. Slight fever.
Holly tells John Boy where Amelia is, and then he wastes all this time trying to find out whether she said anything important to them. And my question is, why even bother? Why not just kill everyone and wait for Holland and Jackson to show back up and kill them too? Is there a morals clause to this kind of killing?
That shows for
Well, it was 1977, so they said stuff like that back then without thinking about it, so it's totally okay to do it here in this part of the movie with no real reason other than that's the way people talked. Oh well.
Jessica, dial 911.
Jessica, I wouldn't do that if I were you.
And so she doesn't. Then she tries to escape by running right by the bad guy.
Threw that little girl out the window.
This guy is the dumbest goddamn contract killer ever. And it's too bad because Matt Bomer is doing an excellent job playing someone who is a lot better at his job than the movie wants him to be. I like how the bad guys needed a super killer and they sent away for the worst shot this side of Stormtrooper School.
Tell Mr. Healy things for nothing.
I absolutely understand the desire to escape the place that has active gunfire going on, but this still feels like a miscalculation. Maybe it's because she's killed 90 seconds from now.
Wow.
He's shocked it's so easy to find and kill Amelia, but this fucking dude doesn't know what she looks like, as he literally thought Holly's friend Jessica was Amelia at first.
How's our patient? That's her.
Oh, and by the way, you're welcome. You're out, free on your own recognizance. You gotta walk.
Yeah, how the fuck is that possible? They've been at the scene of multiple shootings and multiple dead bodies, all inside 48 hours. Even without further evidence, which they would have, I think the detectives would be thinking, yeah, I don't believe in coincidences this big.
Amelia, Misty, Dean, Shattuck, all dead.
Right now, this cab driver's thinking to himself like, stay cool, man, stay cool, man, stay cool, man.
Holy fucking shit.
Oh!
Ah, Catholic school flashbacks.
There! That's the window!
I was coming around that corner, and I saw her through that window.
The angles presented here, along with the Coke bottle glasses Mrs. Glenn is wearing, make this an unbelievably improbable thing she saw. And it really sucks that the movie never once demonstrates how Mrs. Glenn saw what she did.
The Western Hotel to meet the businessman.
She was screening it for the distributors. She was showing them the film.
If she was screening it for the distributors, and all those guys are dead at this point, where the f is this copy of the film now? Sure, she might have stuffed it in her yellow bag, but she didn't take that with her when she ran away from Holland's house. And none of the main characters are going to take it with them to the auto show. So did someone else survive John Boy back at the hotel? Because someone would have had to take the film from there to the auto show, and it sure as f isn't going to be Amelia.
Opening night, 9 p.m., signed Chet.
Either Amelia gave Chet the film and didn't have one to show the distributors, or Chet somehow has another copy of the film, and the one that Amelia showed the distributors was left somewhere around the crime scene. And if that's the case, the bad guys shouldn't even be sweating another copy of the film at this point, because surely John Boy would have disposed of that film at the hotel and have no knowledge of another copy.
The LA Auto Show. It's today, right?
Of course it is. Not like it could have been yesterday or the day before. It just happens to be tonight.
Please stop talking. I've been listening to everything you said. Does this mean that my niece is dead?
Yes!
You brought your daughter with you?
Thanks, buddy.
How'd you know my name was Buddy?
This guy is a fucking moron. He looks at his late 20s or 30s and he's only just now being called buddy casually by a stranger? Bullshit.
It's just a bunch of cars. Motor City Pride. It's not it.
Holland and Jackson make the mistake of not bringing me on this adventure so that I could tell them if something is spliced in the middle of the film on the platter. Doesn't even occur to these assholes that this could be the case. The Christie Elf platter system was definitely not a thing in 1977 and wasn't implemented until probably the 90s. I'm also pretty sure the Christie Auto Wine 3 makeup table wasn't around in 1977, and I have doubts about the projector itself, but finding information on that would probably require me to call someone at the Christie Company. And what the channel do you think this is?
Guess you killed the projectionist, huh?
No. My associate's out looking for him now.
Offering up information to people you intend to kill solely so the audience can hear it.
What gun?
Ankle gun.
Who told you I had an ankle gun?
The other day in the car before we crashed.
Chekhov, you brilliant bastard! The reveal of the usage of the titular Chekhov's gun is actually the lack of use of said gun. I'm still sitting you for breaking the rules, though.
Why did you just throw cold coffee on me?
I mean, do you really even need to ask that question? Even though she's going to answer you, I thought it was obvious as to the why.
That really worked out.
Alternative title to this movie.
Okay, just wait here. I'm gonna take a look around.
I wish he'd embrace one perspective or the other. Either you want to protect her and you leave her at the hotel tonight, or you want her to help and you should just let her be Robin and be done with it. Pick a lane!
Yeah, I promise.
Unkeepable promises.
Free drinks, what do you have?
So Holland went to the bar because Chet's buddies told them he went to get a drink. But why the f is Jackson here in this storage place that just happens to luckily be the exact place he needs to be? Why the f did John Boy merely beat the f out of Chet instead of killing him?
Why'd you have to bring the goddamn kid?
If you want to sin movies, dude, you're going to have to make these observations earlier, like I did. And that's the end of Keith David's character. I don't know why you'd get this guy just to waste him like this, but you did. So John Boy starts shooting at the projector to stop the movie, and it's exactly the half-ass I'd expect from this crew. My main question is, if you assholes knew the film might be here at the auto show, and you knew about Chet the projectionist, then why the f did you not have someone checking every aspect of the projection room before the auto show even started? Did you think someone was just carrying the film around with a portable projector and was planning to run it in the middle of the showroom? I have another question for the dickheads who made this porno and planned to show it in the middle of the automobile porn. How far did you think this would play before the auto manufacturers got someone inside the projection room and incinerated the film? Remember, this is now the only copy of the movie you think is going to turn the auto industry upside down. John Boy shoots a gun and causes an explosion, and no one is watching the movie on the wall anymore. Which makes me wonder why the bad guy's plan was to kill everyone who made this movie instead of just doing this. Here's another substantial bit of time where everyone firing a gun seems to be trying to miss. There's no way this film is on a reel right now. No fucking way. The thing she needed to put the film back on a reel is the Auto Wine 3 makeup table located in the exact place it was the last time we saw it. Also, if this film is on a reel already, what the fuck is she doing with it? Why hasn't she run out of here already? Scissors? What the fuck are scissors gonna do?
Give me that, you f***ed up little hippie.
Why haven't you tackled her already? Film canister was too hot to touch just seconds ago, but now he picks it up and runs away. John Boy finally hits what he's aiming at, but he hits it so dead center that he hits the film canister. And I'd really enjoy it if movies went back to bullets missing heroes for a reason. Wait, did that ever even exist? This fucking dude should be dead 5 times over in this movie. This is a great movie, but its use of Fast and Furious physics is goddamn annoying. I love Shane Black, but what the is this camera doing during this fight? It starts at a low angle, dips below the action, corrects itself, goes too high, then suddenly it elevates above the two fighters, and god damn.
Mr. Haley, if you kill this man, I will never speak to you again.
This is persuasive.
And sometimes.
Holy I forgot this movie had narration.
People are stupid, but they're not that stupid.
I believe they are.
And we already got our first case.
Movie sets up a sequel that, as of 2024, has not materialized. I put the blame on you, the viewers.
Link and I are cruising the mountain, bro, and we figure we's a little juice.
A DNA strand like me is a blueprint for building a living thing.
Shouldn't trust anyone, certainly not the Attorney General who just wants it all for himself, and not the young federal agent who wants your job, not even the old man who just wants to hang on to what he created. Don't trust anyone. Just find the Minority Report.
Tried to tell you.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
Let's not talk about my margins, by the way. Being nice and fat. That's a nice shirt. Do they make it for men?
Sid Hatrack. Yeah.
Nobody's name is Hatrack.
That's the worst name I ever heard.
I'm giving you a choice. Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can.
You have a thing for helping women, don't you, Officer White?
Maybe I'm just curious.
You say a lot.
You for money.
We're looking for the Burbank apartments.
They took away my home. Help me out. The government took away my home.
Like all day tomorrow with the dentist.
Go ahead, kid. Jump. The suicide will be nice and neat.
What's good for Detroit is good for America.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please!